I already know what you're gonna say. Jay, we have not talked about Snowbreak at all on this channel. Don't tell me you're gonna start getting into this gacha game and you're talking about this now. Don't you think we had enough of that? No, I'm not getting into this gacha game. In fact, it's kind of impossible to get into this gacha game right now because they're in indefinite maintenance. Why, do you ask? Mainly because potentially some raging, crazy, wild and ass Chinese feminists that might have taken the game down or at least reported it to the Chinese government. Oh dear! Anyway, when it comes down to it, I only saw this morning, and when it comes down to it, people were basically going around saying that, oh, it got so bad because, you know, there was this collaboration they was going to have with the China Post, and then that had to get canceled and whatever. Then at the very same time, you know, the Love and Deep Space fans were potentially fighting with the Snowbreak fans, and so that's how things escalated. Then you also have the Chinese feminists that came through and potentially did something, which... there's just a lot right now. There's very much a lot right now, and to be absolutely honest, we don't know the exact reason. The only thing that we do know, and it is for sure, is that obviously something went down, and it got so damn important to the point that it was posted on national Chinese TV, like the actual national news for China. And that's a bit crazy, right? So it gives me room to kind of talk about that, right? And especially if you know what Snowbreak is, it's that one game where, you know, they said on one of their trailers, yeah, let's just go ahead and have you, you know, play with your bride or whatever, and also imply some back shots, because that's exactly what they decided to do in one of their trailers, and it had me losing my damn mind, high key. But when it comes down to it, this is just another round of a game that wants to be something cool, but can't be because people hate the shit out of fan service for some reason, but is perfectly fine when it comes down to the opposite gender and, you know, obviously go down that whole rabbit hole. And just as we have just literally stated the point with Tamaki and how fan service is fine and you can enjoy it and people need to shut the hell up about it half the damn time when it comes down to it, literally here we go with another situation where people basically cannot enjoy their fan service, enjoy their games in peace, and then getting hoed by all kinds of entities and people. This is no different than when MasterCard and Visa was going after games. This was no different than when Collector Shout was being a collector bitch. This is no different than any of that situation. The only difference is that in China, adult things like, you know, pornography and stuff like that is obviously illegal. Like, you literally cannot have any of that sort of material whatsoever. And yeah, it's pretty much a GG's. If you do, you're going to jail for it. That's the only actual difference here. And I've always been asking this question about all these gacha games, but I'm really just going to ask it now. If you are a dev in China and you basically go out your way to add a risque character, add risque, you know, sort of clothes to that character or whatever, why would you have basically your main base of operations solely within China and not somewhere else where it's allowed to be there, right? Because ultimately, I feel like that's a bad call to just keep your main base of operations or how to keep the game operational in China when that type of stuff, for the most part, shouldn't be allowed, but somehow they get away with it in certain shape and form. And that's just genuinely how it is. And again, you sure you want to risk that? Because oftentimes I've seen that with many different people. Hell, there was like a whole incident back with, I think, Honkai 3rd Impact with the whole bunny incident with everybody basically dressed up as bunny girls, and while everybody else in the world was perfectly fine with it, China had a whole hissy fit about it, and then literally was like, yeah, that has to be removed, nothing like that should happen again. And that's why, you know, that didn't come back in any shape and form. Possibly the reason why you don't really see a lot of Hoyoverse games go that crazy in that direction, and only Zenless is kind of somewhat slightly doing it to a degree. But that's just how it is. But regardless though, China, when it comes down to the fan bases of these different games, they always kind of had like the weird side to them too, where certain things is perfectly fine, but then the one thing you think would be fine is somehow the one thing that's not fine, and I'm just like, wait, what? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So it is what it is, which is why in particular it does be kind of surprising when you do see certain games be a bit raunchy at times when it comes down to it, right? Like, they just kind of go in certain directions, and it's like, you sure you can do this? I'm surprised this is something that Japan or South Korea hasn't done, because I mean, if you look at any of the material from either of those, countries, easily you would think of them first and not necessarily China, right? Because again, that no adult content sort of mentality law is very much in play there. Hell, that's how one artist that used to do a lot of, Genshin related Jinsai content got arrested, and he won't be out of jail for like, I want to say until next year potentially. I want to say, I think he got arrested like a while ago, which is kind of sad and kind of crazy because he's basically also going to be missing, I would assume, all of Snezhnaya too. Shirakami, I believe it was Shirakami. He has some dope ass animations. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. Which, granted, maybe, I don't know, he might get out soon, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how the law works over there. I don't know. But when it comes down to it, though, we have seen that before. But when it comes down to like gacha games and stuff, it's, again, you would think that would be kind of like, the safe things, but no, they kind of play slightly risky. They often at times, do a bit of wild stuff when it comes down to it, and 9 times out of 10, it's usually fine. And again, usually, and this is just how all, things of fan service work, if it's the female body at play, for some reason, everybody gets extra mad, everybody gets extra sensitive, and then for some reason, that's the huge problem there, right? Which, again, I'm not certain how Chinese feminists really are, because obviously the feminists in the West, or people in the West, of how they kind of go about fan service and censorship and stuff like that, is probably vastly different than how it is in China. Because in the West, especially on the gaming side, like a lot of the reasons why you get people to shit on games, to make ugly models and stuff like that, is solely because their products in the West ain't good enough. They ain't appealing to many people who can see through the BS. And when it comes down to it, they'll hoe other games from other people in other regions. And that's basically kind of why, at least part of the reason why, stuff like that happen. For China, I got no effing clue. The only things I have briefly seen a little bit of is that there is maybe like recently a bit more of a empowerment move for feminists to come through, which China themselves don't like feminists either, and some has been like detained before and whatever and arrested. So there's also that. But also at the very same time too, there's also this culture, and I believe it's just Asian culture entirely, where apparently like once you're past the age 25, you're basically considered leftovers as a woman, and essentially you're old as shit and no one wants you, which is baffling to me, number one. That is incredibly cringe, number two. And number three, if you are over the age of 25 and you're just so happen to be called leftovers and you look kind of good, hit me up please, because your boy does not discriminate. But when it comes down to it though, it is very much a weird thing. It is just a strange thing though, if that is the case, and maybe that's the reason why them leftover ladies just sat there and just thought, you know what, I ain't losing to no damn fictional character, so F this game. So that could be the case, or it could be, again, fan bases clashing with each other and somebody took it too far and took it to the Chinese government, and that's why the reason why I'm here. Regardless though, it's again just a damn shame that one more game, one more piece of media is getting shitted on, basically getting their game potentially gutted of any sort of adult content when it comes down to it, just solely because, they had to just get bombarded with the government themselves, and just people can't necessarily let people enjoy the shit that they want to enjoy when it comes down to it. Again, when it's always on the guys looking good, no one complains, no one has a fit. But when it comes down to the female body, for some reason, it is the most, no, it must be absolute porcelain clean, it must be skittle free, it must be all this other sort of stuff when it comes down to it for some reason. And it's always the thing that causes a problem when, bitch, I like to look at fine ass women. I like to look at games where characters are looking all good all the time, right? Like, I don't want to sit here and look at some ugly ass person unless I have a good reason to see that, or there's a good reason to have that in the story, or whatever the hell you're kind of getting with, right? That's just how it is. Genuinely, even when it comes through life, I would not sit here, waste my time trying to date somebody I think is basically ugly as shit, not worth it, and all that sort of jazz. I would very much try to go for the best of the best that I can go, that I believe that is possible for me, while trying to, obviously have a good time, right? I don't think anybody intentionally wants to date somebody that's ugly as shit, or try to go down as on the lower end of the spectrum right now, right? Granted, beauty is essentially the eye of the beholder, is essentially what you think and classify what beautifulness is. And when it comes down to it, that should be how it is, right? So ultimately, once again, people just like want to have their games and just be fine with it. They just want to have their games and just enjoy it for what it is and not be hoed by feminists, by credit card companies, by other fan bases that literally take it a little too damn far because they're sensitive assholes or whatever the hell is the case. Again, there is no reason why that should be the case if that is, and ultimately people should just be able to enjoy the games that they want to enjoy. And again, once again, I feel like I need to implore this. If you are a Chinese developer and you are wanting to make a game that is on the raunchier side, like, you sure you don't want to take it out of China? You sure you don't want to take your dev team out of China and just, make a game outside of China and just have that to be available and free and whatever the hell? Like, again, I do not understand. I do not understand how that is a thing, and they very much run the risk of that, like, a lot of the time. It's crazy, it's bold, but also, I don't want to see your game get shut down if I really enjoy it. So, that's just how it is. Go to South Korea. Brown Dust 2 does amazing when it comes down to what they want to show, and it's absolutely raunchy and crazy. Horizon Walker, also another game that's wild and crazy and likes to show a lot of different things too. So again, you got places you can go, just just go out there, move a little bit, and I promise you, your game is not going to get shut down, at least for the most part when it comes down to it. So that's essentially all I got to really say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also on the socials and if you did on the channel, Kofi and Catch Up is available as well. And until then, it's me, Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.